Hi. Welcome to the tip of the month, where we're going to talk about the neuroscience behind effective sales habits. Back in 1989, the late Stephen Covey wrote a great book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And today I'd like to concentrate on one word out of that book title, habits. When you study top producers, whether it's in sales or business, they have developed success habits. And they've done it by concentrating on 2 areas. 1, focus, the second, practice. Let's talk about focus first. You know, when you're on your way to achieving mastery, it means you've got to learn new skills, attitudes, behaviors. And learning requires that you engage the prefrontal lobes, the prefrontal cortex. Now, this is often called the executive center, or in some places called the conductor. Now, this is where logical reasoning processes occur and learning occurs. However, the prefrontal cortex, when it's engaged and in learning, it only takes in one piece of information at a time. So here's what happens. People are in meetings, training, coaching sessions, and they're so addicted to their little smartphones that nobody is paying attention, and the prefrontal lobes aren't engaged. No learning occurs. And the fact of the matter is you're wasting a lot of time and money, and worse, you're not becoming any smarter. You're not becoming masterful. Let's talk about habit number 2, practice. And there's a saying out there, repetition is the key to mastery. Let me explain the neuroscience behind this. Now, I'm going to ask for forgiveness ahead of time because I'm a teacher, not an artist. But let's suppose for a minute, this is your brain. And let's go back to when you were born. When you're born with about 150 billion neurons. And each one of these neurons can make approximately 15,000 connections. They're called synapses in the neuroscience world. Now, with repetition, these become neural pathways, or what we might commonly call hardwiring. So, as you're growing up, whatever you're exposed to, you repeat, becomes your hardwiring. Well, let's take this to sales. You go to a seminar, you listen to an audio, and you realize you need to update your selling skills. You've learned a great way to ask questions or deal with objections. But here's what happens. You haven't practiced it enough. And so the first time you practice, you look and sound a little bit like this. You're stumbling and mumbling. Now, a lot of salespeople just quit here. However, the dedicated person will sit and practice. And the next time they do it, they're a little bit better. That neural pathway gets a little stronger. And the next time you make more connections. And after you've done it, and I like to say at least 144 times, you've created a new synapse, a series of synapses or a neural pathway. You are on your way to mastery. You know, I like to quote Coach Dungy. And obviously he was a former NFL coach that took his team to the Super Bowl. And here's what he had to say. Champions don't do extraordinary things. They do ordinary things, but they do them without thinking. They are too fast for the other team to react. They follow the habits they have learned. So my suggestion for becoming a highly effective salesperson, focus and practice. They are the new competitive weapons in a highly competitive business environment. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colleen Stanley, President of Sales Leadership.